chance. Okay, so we're recording now. I should probably share my screen too, just to make it so it's a little bit easier on you guys. So day 2, session 2, really, I guess. So welcome. Thanks for joining me again on the next call. Let's just kind of dive right in, I guess. We only have a little bit of time. So agenda today is marketing, POP, Craigslist, reputation management, and of course our favorite, auditing. I know we're all super excited about that one. So love starting with POP, and Anthony's not on the call, but he got this right the other day. Scarlett, do you remember what POP stands for?
Kind of.
Not somebody you can call out somebody on the call and make them.
Point of purchase?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So we've got POP, point of purchase. So that is one of my favorite things to do. Brand guidelines. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog crying outside the door. Brand guidelines. So our fantastic marketing department, they've gone in and created these brand guideline packets for every single property. They might still have a few more left to do, but I think for the most part, all of you guys should have yours. So where you can find them is going to be in your property SharePoint under docs. And then most of the time they create a separate folder that's titled marketing, and you can find it in there under design and marketing guidelines. I wanted to show you a little bit more about this, just some of the benefits for using your design and marketing guidelines on a regular basis to help build your brand. If you go in and you don't see it, let me know and I'll reach out to Cassidy and Laura and see when you might get it. So they've basically laid everything out for you. It makes it super easy so you know what you're looking for with that table of contents. And then the fun stuff really kicks in. You've got your logo. So every single logo that they offer, that they've created and designed for you, is going to be just laid out there for you. Super handy, because when you're in Canva, you know, sometimes using certain design templates, you need to use a different logo. You know, I love the centered look of that Stadium Park colored one, but sometimes you don't want to do things all centered, and so you have to go with that left-hand side and any of those. So it's super nice that it's all right there for you. And I think this is my favorite page, just because I learned a little trick with these hex numbers and that you can do for your design colors in Canva. So you can literally copy and paste that hex number into your Canva, and you're going to have the exact color every single time. And it's like my absolute favorite thing to do, just because before I knew that I could do that, I would sit there and try and toggle to find like the right color every single time. And we all know that it's not going to be the exact same color if you do it that way. So really great way to get your tone. I know some of us have the premium Canva accounts, so you can set up your brand colors automatically that way, but it does cost money. And so just depending on your budgets, I know some of us only have like the standard free account. And so this way you can still get that color every single time. And if you want me to show you how to do that, Teams me afterwards and we can hop on a call. Hi, Candace. So we've also got the lettering and typography. Your fonts are going to play a really big role in setting your brand. So if you use your fonts correctly, most people will be able to identify you before they even see your logo by just looking at your typography. It's kind of like Disney, right? We've all grown up watching Disney movies. So if we see that Disney font, even if it doesn't say Disney, I know right away I'm about to watch a Disney movie, and my favorite's usually Little Mermaid. But, you know, anywho, so going in, they've also done the hard work for you. So they've broken down your demographics and kind of the businesses based on your area. Little tip and trick for those of you who haven't done a marketing plan in the fall, this is going to be hugely helpful for you when the time comes. So I strongly suggest, just taking a peek and really getting to know, especially a lot of us are here because we're newer to our position. So those of you who are, spend a few minutes this week to pop in there and really just review your property's tone and persona. And this is going to assist you in being a market leader and keeping that exceptional property appearance with your POPs. Any questions before I move on to omnipresence? No? Okay, let me.
I'm sorry, Claire, I had one.
Yes.
So just dealing with like the data or the specific numbers, I assume those change pretty rapidly. How often do they get updated in the guidelines?
As far as I know, since they're still super new with having these all rolled out, I don't think they're going to be updated. It's kind of like a generalized data set. I know for your property, that's why we requested to have additional questions in the application. So that is something you guys can do, is you can reach out to Clint if you want to know more about your demographic. And obviously we have to be a little careful about their housing with some of the questions that we ask, but that is a possibility if you want to have like a little bit more of a survey style portion of your application, you can find out those details. Yeah, so it's just a good start, but it is a good question. So I will check with Laura and Cassidy and see if that's something that they'd be updating every few years. I don't see it happening every year just because of the time it takes, but maybe every few years we can have that done. I think that's a really smart idea. Let me hop in. I'm going to launch a poll for you guys. Do you see it? Okay. So little poll, since you guys seem to be so shy, here it goes. What does omnipresence mean? Is everybody submitted?
Are you wanting somebody to answer you or just fill out the poll?
Fill out the poll.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to end the poll. I think we have everybody. Okay, so we have 2 yeses and 4 maybes. And so that's really great because I'm going to tell you what it means anyways, whether you all said yes or no. Omnipresence means being everywhere. So really what that means with your brand and your messaging should be that you're representing who you are throughout your community, on social media, and really from yourself too. You have to admit what your brand is. You have to have that passion for your property. It's like what Kelly always talks about, loving the dirt. So you have to know your persona, know your tone and your voice for your property, and you have to admit that yourself. So it's everywhere. I've also stolen a few pictures from some of my favorite ways that people have shown omnipresence throughout the HRA properties. Let's jump in. So the first picture is from Mountain View. It's a property in Utah. They created these really cute little bags that the maintenance team was leaving in the apartment. And so like, this is how we roll, great customer service, and obviously service requests and not work orders. Who knows how much I hate the word work orders? I think everybody. University Edge also, I think they have one of, I'm sorry everybody, but I think University Edge has my favorite resident calendar. And it's just because it takes up like the entire wall. It's so huge. It's right behind Krista's desk in the leasing office, so everybody sees it. And I mean, like I like to think I do okay with drawing, but like this girl takes it to the next level. I think a resident that they just give like a small rent credit to every single month. So she just comes in one day and does that. And this is just like top notch. It looks really, really great. On the right-hand side, University Suites, they're from Raleigh. They made this little Suites Memories on the door to their gym. And so it's in the leasing office as well, and just shows off like their resident events and their residents. I mean, I don't know about you guys, I'd feel like a rock star if I got to like hang out and like be shown on the door, have like my picture up there. I bring all my friends in and be like, look, I made it. I'm super cool. So this is a great way to just really showcase what they do. customer service wise, and really just like showing their brand. So they've kept that sweet, it's like live this sweet life at U Suite. So they have their brand, they have their tagline, and it's just super catchy. I featured Mountain View again. I took this before I realized I'd already featured them, but it's because they're seriously putting the wow in Wow Fridge. Be that property who really has the best wow fridge. When Kelly comes, have that. So she opens it and she just gets so excited because, when she goes to properties and she sees things she loves, she takes a picture of it and she puts it on the POP Omnipresence channel. And that's just such a huge compliment. So another tip about your wow fridge is put a POP in one of those little plastic holders and put that in your fridge. Kelly, she loves when people do that. And it kind of adds like that little element of surprise because you open a fridge and you don't expect to find, like a marketing piece there. So, it also fills in those little awkward gaps that you get when so you don't have to like spend so much money at Costco too. Because I love Costco and I tend to go way overboard. And then UC Denton, they're at Texas. They have this great tagline. It's all about you at UC. And they have the beautiful wall decal behind it, which I'm super jealous of. And then every single resident computer is branded, has a branded background to match. So strongly suggest every single resident computer you have should have something on your background or on the screensaver or something about renewing or, what your tagline is, what your brand is. Christina over at Chase Village, my OG property in Eugene, she's marketing queen. She went to school for it. So she's like brilliant and amazing. She designed this renewal banner that goes in the mailroom, the locker room that they have there, but she also created unique ones they have like 3 mail rooms. She created a different banner for each mail room. So mail rooms are the absolute best place to have some sort of POP for your property. I recommend renewals. You can do resident events, any resident event coming up, create a POP flyer for it, laminate it, and put it in your mailroom or by your mailboxes. So another little homework piece, I challenge you to walk around your leasing office, your clubhouse, your model, walk around your amenities and see where you can add a banner or another item of POP. There's so many different creative ways out there. You could do window markers, you can do it on the gym. We've got Cricut people out there over at Anthony's property, like everything's all Cricketed out. If you don't know what that is, it's really hard to explain, but it's awesome. It's like vinyl stuff. Once you do it, share it on the POP Omnipresence channel, please. Like we want to get so much engagement on there. And like we want to be able to give you guys a shout out for your great ideas, your great creativity. And we also want to steal it for the other properties with Horizon, because that's the best form of flattery, is being able to steal each other's designs and reuse them. Because we've got Texas and Washington, we've got Florida and Oregon. So the nice thing about that is like you do a little bit less work, but you've got a different market too. So it's not like, oh, I've seen that already. Nobody's going to say they've seen that already. Do you guys have questions? What's your guys' favorite out of all of the ones I showed? Deanna? What's your favorite POP?
Shayla likes the fridge.
The fridge. Yeah. Labels on there, little flowers.
I like the sweet memories life.
Yeah. So yeah, that's super cute. The model, that would be a great place.
The chalkboard is clearly the winner though.
Yeah. They're so good. What do you think, Catherine?
I like the fridge too. I think it's so cute. It's like seasonal. You can change it out. Super fun.
There's like little chickens in there.
Yeah.
It's super cute. Okay. So moving on to Craigslist. It's another one of my like uber nerdy favorite things to do, which is super unusual because so Deanna, who's on the call at Chase Courtyard, she and I go way back. We started a month apart and we were leasing agents at the same time. So she knows that when I first started, I hated Craigslist. It was like pulling teeth to get me to do an ad. And now I love creating Craigslist ads. So super nerdy. If you guys want help or need questions, or if you guys are ever really busy and you need a Craigslist ad up, Teams me. Just Teams me your login. I'll toss something up for you. And so kind of jumping right in, really the feature photo is where you have the opportunity to grab somebody's attention. Be the market leader on Craigslist when you're going through there. Each feature photo that you have should include these 3 things and also be easily readable. Logo, let your logo be your guide. Vanity number, we'll talk about all of these things, but just keep in mind of your prospects and how they're going through their apartment search. Most are doing their apartment search on their phone. So, you know, if the lettering's really hard to read, maybe you didn't catch a spelling error, just kind of going back into that audit feature or that audit part of our job description. But, you know, I once had a leasing agent who had a hard time spelling availability. And I'm not going to lie, it's a hard word, but it was just one of those things I had to keep an eye out for, you know? So, and I've definitely spelled it wrong on a banner myself and didn't catch it, but you guys are better than that. We've got Grammarly out there now. The body message, so these are going to be the key items to use in your Craigslist ads, and I would always suggest urgency every single time. Your apartment and your community amenities, they're going to be where your search words come in. And I love when properties include their office hours because it's showing your prospects when they can stop by and take a tour. So office hours are really, really important. Just be sure if you kind of copy and paste those that you're careful when your office hours change. And really just for best Craigslist results, we've come up with some standard operating procedures because even though it is a free resource, it still takes time. We all know that Craigslist can take us a little bit of time. So overall, 8 or 1 ad per hour is going to be a good amount of posts. Now, some markets out there have really, really competitive Craigslist that gets super intense. So you just have to be the person who you look at the big picture there and you have to kind of determine, do you need more ads because you want to be effective and you want to be seen. So that's something that you might have to kind of review and take a peek at throughout the year. Also, having a designed feature photo is going to allow your property to stand out from the rest. Other properties, I mean, we are all on Craigslist. Other properties we've seen are starting to catch on to this designed feature photo. But from what I've seen, HRA just takes it to the next level. What they do is they kind of go back to what I used to do, where we created them in Publisher back in the day. Or they're adding way too many words on it. They have everything on there, and so you can't even read it. I don't want to click on it. So, I mean, just keep being the market leader there. And then also, be sure you're using your vanity numbers, so your specific vanity Craigslist number. If you don't know how to find your vanity numbers, you can do it by going to Entrata, and it's under reports, and then under communications, because apparently that's where all of the reports I use are. So vanity numbers, they're just super, super crazy important because it's how Entrata is going to identify how the lead found us when we look at marketing reports. And that's going to show us where we know to spend our money and where to cut back. And with Craigslist, that's going to show us really like, are our ads effective? High quality photos really are a bigger deal than you think. So I always say refrain from using photos that are low resolution, they're going to show up super pixelated, and really refrain from using Google photos. I'm going to share some resources with you in just a second, and they're just going to give you those really high lifestyle photos. Now, rotating keywords, Emmett from marketing, he's really like the guru here. But I mean, really the more keywords that you use and rotate in your Craigslist ads, the more likely somebody is going to be able to find you based on what they're looking for. And so really what we want to aim to do is have a customer-centered approach rather than a product-centered approach. So we want somebody to be able to find us based on what their needs are. You know, if nobody's probably, I mean, we always want to include our amenities, but I mean, most people don't go onto Craigslist and search volleyball court as one of their top needs in an apartment. So make sure you include your amenity, your apartment amenities, as well as your community amenities, because that's really what they're searching for there. So the resources, like I promised, so secret tips and tricks here. I'll send them to you in an email afterwards, but Pexels and Unsplash.com have those amazing high resolution photos. And I'm not gonna lie, there's some weird photos on there. So you might have to do a little bit of digging, but I use these sites all the time. And then also there's ways that you can make your specials or your phone number or certain words in there bold or underlined. You can even do italics. It took me years to figure this out. So hopefully by me giving it to you, it makes it a lot easier on you. You don't have to do all the hard work, and I'm not a computer person. That's why it took me so long. And then reputation management. I've got, this is kind of scary to me. So 9 out of 10 customers read reviews for local businesses before making a purchase. We kind of have to be on our game all the time. So I took some little still shots here. In case you haven't been on here yet, maybe you haven't looked super closely, homepage of Sochi just gives you that nice little snapshot to see where you stand in like your reviews and your social media. You can see that this property, I can't remember the property that I'm on, but clearly nobody is looking at their posts between like 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. They actually have pretty consistent, but their high traffic time is about 10 to 11 a.m. So really great things. That's when you know to post, especially if you have a resident event that you want high traffic at. Post the day before at 11 o'clock at night. It also has that really, you know, cool tool when you go to post that you can just select to post at the high traffic time. Also, if you haven't had Sochi training with Megan Bennett yet, she's amazing. She is like the master of social media. So Teams her or let me know and I can set up a call between you guys. We're in the age of computers and communication. So communication is just super easy nowadays, and reviews are another why it is so important to have great customer service. Build those strong relationships with your residents. I know we talked a lot about that Tuesday. These days that I get to talk with you are just like my main focal points. So yesterday didn't happen to me. I just miss working in an office. Anyways, so 57% of customers only consider a business if it has 4 or more stars. This property is clearly doing really, really solid. The only thing I recommend the property is that Facebook could use a lot more reviews. They only have 1 review on Facebook. You know, Yelp, they can use a few more reviews here on Yelp too. So also I noticed this the other day, I'm not sure how long it's been on here. It just kind of shows how long it's been since I've been on Sochi, but the BBB stands for the Better Business Bureau. The nice thing about them is that they actually send you a letter first with a chance to respond to the review. So it basically determines if the complaint is valid before it sets your rating. So that's super handy because that's freaked me out when I saw it's the Better Business Bureau. Megan was like, nope, they're super great. It's not like Facebook or Google where anybody who gets evicted can go on and just trash your site. So do you guys have any questions about Sochi or reviews? Not yet? Okay. So we'll jump into what those expectations are and really just best practices. Response times really matter to people, and quick responses show them that we care about their feedback. So whether it's a good review or a bad review, we always want to respond to them within 24 to 48 hours. And what my habit was as soon as I got to work, I opened every single tab that I was going to be using throughout the day first thing. So Sochi was one of those tabs, and I would just work my way over down the way. So I knew for sure if there was a review within the past 24 hours, I was going to handle it. The review response generator is an amazingly handy tool on the portal. It's in the you're on the portal, all those little boxes, it's the bottom right corner. But it's really, really good to use whenever you have one of those tricky reviews. So go here and start to build out your responses. The big takeaway here is that, or really the big goal here is to take the issue offline. We are not Kanye and Justin Bieber. We do not do Twitter wars. And we just want to make sure that that fighting, if it does come to that, is not going to be shown and seen by everybody. So take it offline. Any questions about that? Anybody have a really hard review that they haven't figured out how to respond to yet? No? Okay. So you guys are really quiet again today. I don't know if I need to FedEx some energy drinks before the next one, but I might have to do so. So we're cruising today. We have a few minutes, so it's roundtable time. I really want to hear from you guys about how you've increased reviews at your property. Michelle, do you want to go since I know you've been working with Megan?
Yeah, so a few different things we've done with reviews is, so at every resident event, we always do little gift bags, and in every single gift bag we have a little card that we create especially for the resident event that says something about it, it says something about give us a review, something about give us feedback about the events, things like that. Also, all of our business cards give us a review on the back. So every single business card we give out, no matter to who it is, it says something about it. And then it says, different Yelp, Facebook, Google. We kind of have our 3 R's here that I do for POP. I do renew, review, and refer. So we have those POPs that go up everywhere. So we've got all of that going on. We also do within our office, we kind of do like a how many reviews can we get type thing competition between all of us. There isn't always really a reward. We just kind of like how many reviews can we get type thing.
Everybody's super competitive. I just love that.
We are. So we're always we're always thinking of different ways to get reviews and everything, because we're not a student property, so it's not like people are super concerned with putting reviews out there for us, but people are concerned with looking at reviews before they move in, so that's why we need them. So that's helped to get those, and for the most part, people have definitely been giving reviews. They're definitely happy to give them.
Yeah, you guys have had a really good increase in reviews. So yeah, that's great. Thank you. Anybody else have some ways that they've done review engagement?
Just use the service team a lot since they're in the apartments the most. Our philosophy has always been that we get the leases, they keep them here. So just getting them to talk to residents a lot more and speaking to them in the apartments and asking for reviews. That's been successful for me before. It's just using your service team. In addition, we just ask for them. We'll start asking for them on social media, like, hey, post a review on this place or that place. And again, with the cards as well, it's pretty much just hitting all the avenues that you can to get people to do reviews. Students seem like they have the least amount of time to do reviews, so we just try to get them to do them as soon as they agree to it. And then probably offer like a $5 gift card or something, whether it's a good or bad review, just a review in general, we'll honor that. So we do things like that.
Yeah. I think that's great. I love that little, we get the leases and the service team keeps them. I think that's such a true statement. Most people they really care about how quick things are taken care of in their apartment. So great job. Scarlett?
What was a good idea that we kind of thought of, since we have a lot of computer stations, is to replace our background from just our logo to leave a review. We have a lot of students that come in and use our computer stations and print and stuff. So
Yeah, I love that. I think you could also take that, like just automatically have a window open for like your Yelp or your Google or Facebook or something like on the review page.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Catherine, didn't Josh steal people's phones and be like, oh yeah, here, let me get it set up for you?
Yeah, so honestly, like in office, when people come in, we're always talking with like the students coming in. So we just would like, what do you like about the Cranberry? Would you like mind leaving us a review? And he'd like log them in on their phone, like show them how to do it. So we were super good about that. And then we've kind of used like our maintenance team too. Like we leave notes like when they get their work order done. Like if we did a good job, like leave us a review. And that's been super helpful. So.
Oh, good. I love that. I know. I was always like, I can just picture Josh stealing somebody's phone and just like going for it, just because he's just such like a friendly person that nobody takes it like offensively.
And nobody cares. They're all okay with it.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like if I did that, somebody'd be like, no, that's my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So love those ideas, you guys. Dun. We're back to auditing. So with digital marketing audits, the key is really to look at your property from a different angle and really more big picture. So, like we know you guys are in it, right? You guys, you know your address, you know your property, you know the processes. So you guys are just so far in it that really we want to improve how we can step back and take a peek at the bigger picture of our properties. So that's one of the goals I have. And every few months, you guys should be going in and just really doing a marketing audit. Go in and Google, look at your website, all of your internet listings. ILS is internet listing service. And then again, Craigslist. See what pops up. And then, really, I think for me is, like, are you showing up on sites that you didn't know about? Like that's definitely happened. We had the leasing manager retreat back in November and we took like 20 minutes and gave everybody had their laptop. So we had them hop on and do a Google audit. So, maybe you're paying for a product that you didn't know you were paying for. Maybe your vanity numbers are correct. Scarlett and I hopped in when I was there just 2 weeks ago now. And so there were a few things that we emailed Emin about that we noticed. Something I had no idea about is that Google will sometimes pull your website phone number and use it on the Google search page. So what happens with that is that any person who calls from Google in Entrata is going to pop up and say that they found you off of the property website. So we just want to make sure our information and our tracking is accurate because that's going to help us down the road when, again, we're looking at our budgets and we're saying where we want to spend money. It's like, oh, well, we're clearly not getting any leads from Google, so why are we spending like $2,000 a month or whatever your budget's at there. And then pictures. What pictures are showing up for your listings and on Google? Are they from the 90s? Like, do they have, the FICAs and really odd things? Like, just kind of take a peek and see what those photos are. How can you go in and get those taken down and get your new, your most recent property photos up there. We know things, especially like office hours, those change summer to winter. So are you changing those throughout the year? We want you guys to catch these things before anybody else does. That's kind of the goal, is to kind of like take a step back and catch these before, like I call the corporate team the Ministry of Magic. So catch these things before the ministry does. That's the goal for you guys. Entrata reports. So again, Entrata's pretty freaking cool with all of the tools that they give us. So they make these audits a little bit easier for us in those ways. The lead trend analysis, the only bugaboo I have with Entrata is that they're constantly changing, which isn't always a bad thing, right? I mean, it's really not a bad thing. But when I find a report I love and they take it away, I tend to get a little upset. But luckily, I reached out to somebody, nice young man, yes, I'm an old lady, and he gave me the new report, which is exactly what I needed. So it's the lead trend analysis report, and it took the place of leads by lead source. So it's going to show you how many leads are coming in from each traffic source that you're paying for. Just remember to summarize. It's going to automatically summarize by property. So just summarize by lead source instead in your filter. And I'm sorry, it might be a little small on some of your computers here, but if you can see, this property had 34 leads from apartment.com in April, and then 33 in May. So far they have 5 for June, and I pulled this last week, so they probably have a lot more than that. But again, audit and look at things from a big picture perspective here. If your property increased its budget in May for apartments.com, but you have one less lead, is that worth it? The property had, you can see on here, half of the amount of Craigslist ads in May than they did in April. So if it was me, what I would do is I would go back through my Craigslist account and I would see, did we post less? Were our specials not as strong? Were our feature photos, did they not stand out enough? So, you know, don't be afraid to go in and do some digging to these things, because these are super important in basically what we do. Anybody have any questions about this report? Takeaways, anything like that? No? Okay. So takeaways for today. We didn't have enough time last time, but we do still have quite a few minutes. So take a second, think about what the biggest takeaway, like what was most helpful for you today. So have one thing, and then who wants to go first? Scarlett, yeah.
So the POPs and the wow fridge, that was a good tip.
Yeah.
Took away some great ideas from Michelle when she spoke about some of the other ways to do reviews. And I also liked the idea of just taking the student's phone and logging in.